Today we're going to be making our very own spring scene snack plate. This is Get Your Plate Online. I'm Katie and we're going to be doing a fun in the kitchen craft together. So, before we get started, I thought it would be fun to read this nice book. It's called Goodbye Winter, Hello Spring, so that we can learn more about what happens when it changes from winter to spring. Because for a lot of us, I think that it's very much spring weather now. So, let's start by reading the book. Remember, it's called Goodbye Winter, Hello Spring. The first page says, "Hello, winter night." See how it's very dark and snowy out? It's winter time. He has his winter jacket on, and his dog is ready to go play. Next it says, "Hello, snow." And then it says, "Hello, from high up in the sky. I drift down, 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 down." So what happens when the snow comes from the sky? It comes from all the way up and goes all the way down to the ground and makes big hills of snow, like you can see in this picture. There's lots of snow on the ground. The next page says, "I fall through the sycamore branches. I fell onto the husky's bushy tail." You can see, here's the husky. He's very snowy. It's still snowing, it's still winter. Next it says, "Hello, frozen pond. Hello, sleeping fish. Hello, we huddle for a winter's sleep. Over our frozen ceiling, the wind sweeps away snowy dust." So when it's winter, the ponds freeze. See, the fish are sleeping, so they're still cold. But when the spring comes and it starts warming up, then the fish can wake up. "Hello, glass house. Hello, I'm cold inside. The swaying trees through my glass panels are like tall, slender ghosts. The last logs are draped with snow." Can you see the logs? They're all snowy. "Hello, winter brook. Hello, rocks and sticks are frozen in the ice along my curving banks. Hello, footprints in the snow. Hello, we disappear as the snow covers us." So what happens when you walk in the snow one day and then you wake up the next morning and your footprints are gone? That's because more snow happens, more snow falls, and then your feet disappear. "Hello, trees. Hello, our thin arms shudder and lash in the rising snowstorm. Hello, empty nest. Hello, against the striking winds, my twigs stay together." So what happens in winter? All the leaves fall off, so there are really thin branches on the trees. But they don't break all the time because trees are pretty strong. "Hello, winter storm. I howl." So what happens when the wind gets really loud? It makes a whoo sound, and that's wintry, right? But now we can see that there's a little bit of light creeping in. Maybe that means it's springtime. "Good morning, orange snow-soaked hills. Good morning, we glow at dawn." Because when spring happens, the sun starts to come up a little bit earlier, right? And maybe it's not as dark as what you expect in the winter. "Hello, early light, I illuminate everything around you. See how it's starting to get brighter because the sun is coming out and the snow's melting? Hello, slush and snow. Hello. In the sunlight, I soak into the cold ground. In the shadow, I stay still and icy. So what happens in springtime? You can see that the sun starts to melt away and the grass starts to come up. But if there are trees and shade, then the snow might stick around for a little bit longer. That's because it's still dark, but the sun will come through and make it all melt away. Hello, winter thaw. Hello, new leaves. Hello, waking animals. Hello, bright sun. I warm the land. Can you see that there are animals starting to roam around? What kind of animals do you see? I see a fox. I see some birds. I see some new leaves on the trees. That's how we know spring is around. Hello, budding flowers. Hello, bright blue pond. Hello, running brook. Hello, green grass all over. Hello, robins. Hello, our petals blossom. The fish are awake. Streams run down the hills. Morning dew is on the meadows. The birds have come back. Are we seeing any more new animals in these pictures? Let's take a closer look. I see some blue jays. I see that the fish are awake in the pond. I see that there's still a little bit more snow on the roof of the house, but a lot of the snow has melted. Where I live, the snow takes a long time to melt. And it actually snowed a few days ago. Yeah, so it still snows even in springtime here. Goodbye, winter. Hello, spring. Are we seeing any more new animals? I see some butterflies, and I see that there are flowers popping out of the ground. Even when it snows here in spring, there are still flowers, so the snow actually covers the flowers. So that's the end of our book. So I think what we have learned about this is that in winter, most of the animals will go to sleep because it's super cold. But then what happens in spring? Animals start to pop up, the fish start to wake up, the rivers and ponds will be flowing with water again. It won't be cold and stuck like ice. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make our own plates that look like spring, and what we're going to do is we're going to draw our little spring, but then we're going to add our favorite vegetables and fruits to make it even more springy. So now we have to know what we need. I have a plastic knife. I have my placemat. I have my clear paper plate that we're going to draw on. I have my pencil case with markers or pencil crayons or whatever you want to use. I have some cling wrap. It's clear, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it on our plate because we don't want to eat on marker, so this is going to protect our food. I have some tape to make it stick to my plate. Then I have my favorite fruits and vegetables. I'll show you what I'm going to use, but you can use whatever you want. It's completely up to you and whatever you have around in your house. So I have a pepper, but if you want to use something different than a pepper, you could use cucumber, you could use celery, you could use carrots. You can use whatever you want. I also have some strawberries. If you don't have strawberries, you can use grapes, you could use raspberries, blueberries. It's completely up to you. I also have some carrots. Again, if you don't have carrots, you could use cucumbers, you could use tomatoes, any circular object. I have some celery. If you don't want to use celery, you could use broccoli, you could use peas, you could use beans. Then I have some cucumber. If you don't have cucumber, you could use peas, you could use spinach leaves, you could use lettuce. It's completely up to you. And then finally, I have some goldfish crackers. These are going to be my fish, so you might need these, but you can also use any cracker or animal crackers, that works too, whatever you have around, and whatever is your favorite snacks. These are just my favorite healthy snacks. So now, we're going to get started on our plate. So I'm going to draw on my plate using my markers and pencils. So let's get started. I'm going to take my blue marker to draw a cloud. So this is my plate. You can choose the top. Well, since the plate is round, you can choose whatever side you want. You just have to make sure that your sky is on the top and then your ground is going to be on the other side of the plate. So I'm going to draw right here. This is going to be the top of my plate, and I'm going to draw a really big cloud. And all you have to do is do a round shape, however you want. And we're not going to color in our cloud because actually later on, we're going to fill our cloud with our favorite dip. Next, I'm going to draw my sun. My sun is going, well, the circle part is going to be orange. So, you can do it on the other side of your cloud. I'm doing it on the edge of my plate. And I'm going to color in my sun. I'm going to make my sun shining super bright because like we saw in the book, the sun has to melt our snow. So I'm going to draw some sun rays. I'm going to use yellow, but you can use whatever color you want. And I'm just drawing them like little sticks coming out from my sun. That's how I like to draw my rays, so then it makes it look like the sun is super bright. So if you need to catch up, this is what we have so far. We have a nice fluffy cloud and a nice bright sun for spring. Okay. Now I'm going to draw some grass. And like we saw in the book, in spring, grass is super bright and green. So I'm using green to make my grass. And I'm just going to do little ticks, like little tiny ticks with my brush, about this, up with my marker, about this big, because my grass is still growing. Because in spring, the grass is just starting to grow. So I'm going to take my plate, and I'm only going to do my grass on one half of my plate. So you see this is my plate. I'm going to cut it in half. That's about half. And I'm going to do my grass on one side of the half. So I'll show you. So this is my half. And then I'm going to do it on this side. So I'm going to put my finger right where I want to end my grass. And I'm going to do little lines. And I'm making little X's to make my grass. I'll show you closer once I'm done so you can see. And if you want, you can use other colors to make your grass. I might add some darker green afterwards. I'll show you with some dark green. So this is what my grass looks like. See how it's just one straight line up to a point, my halfway point in my plate? And I haven't done anything underneath my grass, but you'll see what we're going to do next. So now I want to make a nice moving pond, because we know that ponds melt in the spring. So on the other half of my plate, where the grass isn't, I'm going to draw my waves. And you're going to make pointy circles like you did for your cloud. So the cloud is a little circle, but we're going to do pointy circles. So I'll show you. You go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So those are what my waves look like. And I'm going to add on to my pond, and I'm going to draw a line where my grass is. So my grass is here, so I'm going to draw a straight line all the way down. And that's going to be my pond. And I'm going to color my pond in blue. Your pond doesn't have to be fully colored in because we're going to put some fish over top of it. So don't worry if it's not all the way colored in. So this is what my pond looks like. And I'll just wait a few seconds for our friends to catch up if they need to. So while we're waiting, we can get another green pen because we're going to draw a little bit more grass. So we'll wait 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And don't worry if you're not ready. You don't have to rush. So now we're going to do our little pieces of grass. So I'm just going to do the same X's again, but I'm just going to do them on a little bit of the plate. So just in a few spots, like 2 or 3 spots. One near the top where my other grass is, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. So hopefully you can see that I've done some little pieces of grass in my grass. One at the top, one at the middle, and one at the bottom. Now, do you remember how in the book we saw some nice new birds flying around? I want to add a few birds to our plate. So I'm going to do one right above my cloud because sometimes birds are super high up in the sky. So how I make my bird is I'm going to make a little, like a loop like my cloud that I did, and I'm going to attach 2 of the circles. So see the motion I'm making in the air? That's how I draw my birds because they're flying. So I'll do 1, 2. That's one bird flying high up in the sky. And I'll do another one on the side below my cloud. Super cool, right? I'll wait a few more seconds and then we're going to do our last part of our plate, the drawing part. Then we're going to do the fun in the kitchen part. So this is what my plate looks like right now. And the last thing I want to make is a butterfly, but just the antenna of a butterfly, because in the spring, that's when butterflies come out. So I'm going to draw a curvy line right below my sun and my cloud because butterflies can also fly. And I'm going to do a little circle, and I'm going to color the circle in. And then on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. Curvy line and a circle. I'm not making the whole part of my butterfly because we're going to make a butterfly out of fruit and vegetables. So why don't we start with our butterfly? One thing to remember is that I have washed everything before I used it. So make sure that before you start doing this part, you wash your hands and count to 20 with soap and water. Get in your fingers, in between your fingers and both sides of your hand, your palm, and the other side of your hand. Count to 20, and then you'll be good. So I'm going to put my plate off to the side for now, and we're going to start doing some cutting. So I'll need my placemat and my plastic knife. Boop, boop, boop. So I'm going to make the body of my butterfly with some pieces of carrot. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to cut the edge off of my carrot. I don't use this part of the carrot because sometimes it's a little dirty, see? So I'm going to put this off to the side. Then I'm going to cut 3 pieces of my carrot. They don't have to be big, but if you want them to be thick, they can be thick, so then you have some nice big pieces of carrot. See, this is how thick mine is. It's about the size of my fingernail. So that you can make yours thicker or thinner. It's completely up to you. So that's one. We'll do another one. 2. 3. So you can see my 3 pieces of carrot. I'm going to put my carrot off to the side now. So you can see I have my 3 pieces of carrot. Now, for the other part of our butterfly, we need some wings. So I'm going to take my pepper and I'm going to cut 2 strips of it. So you have to cut all the way down the side of your pepper, like this, down the side, vertically. So if you think about it this way, up and down is vertically, side to side is horizontally. So we're going to cut vertically down our pepper. And I always rip off because we don't really want to eat the green part of the pepper. One more time. Now I have 2 pieces of pepper. So I'm going to put that off to the side. Now remember how I said we just cut vertically, up and down? Now we're going to cut our pepper horizontally, so side to side. So I'm going to put my pepper horizontally on my placemat, and I'm going to cut right down the middle, like this. One more time. So now we should have 4 pieces of pepper and 3 carrots. Now one final thing that we'll need for our butterfly, I wanted to do some different types of wings. So I'm going to take my cucumber. If you want to make your butterfly wings the same, you would need 2 more pieces of pepper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 1 piece of cucumber So I have 1 piece, but I need 2 wings. So what am I going to do? I'm going to cut it again in half. So now I have my butterfly ready. So for my butterfly, remember I need 3 pieces of carrot 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of pepper and 2 cucumbers. Okay, now we're going to do a little bit more cutting before we get to put our plate together. I need some celery now. So you'll only need 1 piece of celery. So see how a celery has many pieces? I'm just going to rip off 1 piece. There you go, 1 piece, and you can put your celery off to the side. So see how long this celery is? We don't need a really long piece of celery. We're going to cut it into 4 pieces. So if you look at my celery, I'm going to try and do 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you look, this is halfway down my celery. So then you're just going to cut, so I'll cut halfway down, 1 and 2. Now you have 2 pieces, and you're going to want to make 4 more. So I'm going to try and cut right in the middle of the 2 pieces again. So do 1 first. This is the middle. Cut it down the middle, and do it 1 more time. Cut it down the middle. So see how we turned 1 piece of celery into 4 pieces of celery? We're going to do it 1 more time. So I'm going to turn 1 piece of celery into 2 pieces by cutting it vertically, up and down. So now look, I have 5 pieces of celery. So we've actually done 2 cucumbers, 3 carrots, 4 peppers, and 5 celeries. We actually need to do a few more pieces of cucumber for our trees. So I'm going to cut 4 pieces of cucumber. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm done with my cucumber, so I'll put it off to the side. So now I have my pieces of cucumber. Now I need some strawberries. I'm going to take 2 strawberries and we're going to cut them into 4. So for a circle, what I'm going to do, so see how a strawberry is sort of like a circle or a triangle? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top of the strawberry and cut it vertically. See how this is up and down? So, from the tip of your strawberry, go down. 1, 2, 3. So now my strawberry is in 2, but I want to make it into 4. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put it back together and do it on the other. So I did it one way, up and down. Now I'm going to do it the other way, horizontally. So take my knife, hold my strawberry, and cut right down the middle. Now I have 4 pieces of strawberry. We'll do it 1 more time together. So I'm going to cut up and down, put it on my board from the tip of my strawberry all the way down. 2 pieces. Now we're going to put it back down and do it on the other way. So side to side, horizontally. Great. Now how many pieces of strawberry do we have? Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's recap what we have. We have 5 pieces of celery, 3 pieces of carrots, 4 pieces of pepper. We cut 1 cucumber into 2, then we cut our cucumber again into 4 pieces, and we've cut 2 strawberries into 8 smaller pieces. So I think we're now ready to put our plate together. So I'm just going to put my vegetables off to the side for 1 second. And we'll put our plate back on our little work surface. So, remember I said how we don't really want to eat on marker? That's a little gross because there might get ink on our vegetables and we don't want that. So, something we can do is get cling wrap, which is clear. See how it's clear? You can see through it. I'm going to get some cling wrap and measure my plate. See how my cling wrap covers my plate? Then I'll rip it. Be careful because it's sharp, so you might need your mom or dad to help you because there's little teeth that are sharp to cut it. So I'm going to put my cling wrap all over my plate to cover it, and cling wrap really sticks together. So you might want to ask your mom or dad for help with this to make sure that it doesn't become one little circle of cling wrap. And this is where we'll need our tape. So you're just going to take some small pieces of tape. Mine is about half the size of my finger. You're going to flip your plate around and tape the cling wrap to the side of your paper plate. I'm going to do it on with 4 pieces of tape all around my plate to make sure that it sticks. So again, half the size of my finger and around the bottom of my plate. See, on the other side, the side that we haven't drawn on. One more time. Half the size of my finger. And on the other side of the plate. And last time, because we've done it how many times? 3. And we're going to do it one more time. 4. So I'll flip my plate over and I'll tape it to the other side of my plate. So, this is what your plate should look like now. See how you have some, you can make a little drum if you want it. So it's protecting our beautiful art that we've done. So, now, I'm going to put my tape away and bring back the vegetables and fruit that we have cut. Now you might not need all of the vegetables that you have cut for your plate, but we'll see together. So what should we do first? How about we make our butterfly so we can see how it works. So for the butterfly, we'll need our carrots. Everyone have their carrots ready? Great. Okay, so do you see where my butterfly is? What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my carrot right below where I did the antenna for my butterfly. So I'll do 1 carrot, 2, and 3. And it's okay if your butterfly goes into the water. It's flying, so butterflies can fly over water. So my carrots have made the body of my butterfly. So you want to make sure that you put 1 carrot right below the other in a vertical up and down line. So the next thing we're going to do is make the wings for our butterfly. So for that, we'll need our pieces of pepper, our 4 pieces of pepper. Does everyone have their pepper ready? Great! So, for the wings of our butterfly, what you're going to do is you're going to put 2 of the pieces of the pepper that you made and connect them right at the top. So I'll show you. So I took 2 pieces and I'm just putting them right together like a triangle. And then you're going to put it at the top. So right in between your first and second carrot. We'll do it one more time together. So I connected my 2 pieces of pepper. I'll look for a space in between my first and second carrot and put them right beside each other. Do you see how it looks like the wings of a butterfly? But we know that most butterflies have 4 wings. So this is where we'll take the 1 cucumber that we cut in half. So, does everyone have their cucumber? Great! So, I'm going to put the cucumber in between my second and third carrot. I'm going to see how it's curved on one side and straight on the other? I'm going to put the straight part facing down towards the water and the grass. Right in between the second and third carrot. So, curved part facing upwards, straight part facing downwards. Now we have a beautiful butterfly with different colored wings. Isn't that great? I'll give everyone 10 seconds to catch up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great! So now, trees, like we saw in the book, make new leaves in spring. So we're going to take 1 piece of our celery. See how it's the thick one? It's not the celery that I cut in 2. I'll show you. See how this was one of my celeries that I cut in half vertically? We don't want these ones. We want one of the pieces of celery that is thicker because we know that trees have really big stumps. So I'm going to put my tree high up in my grass because trees grow super tall near the birds. You can put it on whatever side of the grass you want. Now we're going to take the other pieces of cucumber that we cut because lots of trees in spring are super bright and green, right? Does everyone have their cucumber ready? Great! So I'm going to use 3 pieces of my cucumber and I'm going to put them on the part of my tree that is up towards the sky. And I'm going to make a triangle with my cucumbers. So see how I have 2 that are right beside each other? And I'm going to put 1 on top. So it's going to look like a big full tree. See? It's a big full tree. It's high up in the sky with lots of nice green leaves. Okay, one more thing that we're going to make together is some flowers. So now we're going to need those thin pieces of celery that I mentioned a few minutes ago. So I'm going to put my flowers lower down on my grass because flowers don't grow as tall as trees. So see how my flowers are a little bit lower than my tree? Now we need our strawberries. So I'm going to take 1 of my strawberries that I cut into 4. See here are my 4 pieces of strawberry. And what you're going to do, you know how flower petals are super long and beautiful? So you're going to put one strawberry right on top of your celery, another one going horizontally to the side, another one going horizontally to the side, and your final one on top of your celery facing the bottom of your plate. So you see how my flower is beautiful and red and has lots of nice petals? We'll do that one more time with our other one strawberry that we cut into 4. So I have my 4 pieces of strawberry. Remember, vertically is up and down. So 1 vertically, then horizontally is side to side, right to left. So I'll go 1 right and 1 on the left. And then my final strawberry goes vertically facing downwards to the bottom of my plate. Now we have a beautiful vegetable plate and fruit plate with some flowers, butterfly, and a tree. But what was the other thing that our book talked about? Remember how in the winter fish go to sleep? But it's springtime and our pond has melted. So I have my fishy crackers and I'm going to take 3 or 4, however many you want, and my fish are going to be swimming in my pond. So you can put them wherever you want in your pond. I might even be able to fit 5 fish because my fish are happy and awake. So do you see? Our fish are swimming around in our pond. They have a nice butterfly friend that's saying hi to them right above. But the other final thing that we can do is make a nice fluffy cloud. I'm going to use my favorite dip, which is Caesar dressing, but you can use whatever you want. Some people like ranch dressing. You could do cream cheese if you wanted. Anything that's white. It doesn't even have to be white. Some clouds aren't always white. I have a spoon because mine is a jar, but I bet a lot of you might have a squeeze bottle for your sauce. Whatever works for you. So I'm just going to take a little spoonful of my dressing and see where my cloud is. I'm going to make my cloud nice and fluffy and white. And spread my dressing all around so that my cloud is full. So now we're finished. We have a nice spring plate. Our fish are swimming around. Our flowers are blooming. Our tree is full of leaves. Our butterfly is flying. Our sun is shining. The birds are flying around. And we have a cloud that's nice and fluffy and white. Thanks so much for making this nice fun spring plate with me, friends. I hope that you'll have fun eating this, and you can keep your plate for as long as you want because you can just keep putting your saran wrap and making your nice spring plate. Thank you so much for having a nice fun time in the kitchen with me. Come back for some other great fun spring ideas with my other friends from Get Your Play Online. Have a nice evening.